There goes the helmet. That's the helmet.
Oh, that hurts. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for New Sports. Victor Allen's own unique view of sports, the neo-urban look at sports, brought to you by Victor Allen. That's right. Here is the man that ladies have nicknamed Sexual Chocolate. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is in the flesh. Here's Vic. Yeah, holding it. Hey, yo, hey ho, hey ho.
You know what? You shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that.
All the hoes were waving. They're like, hey. I said, hey ho.
Okay, you guys. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to talk about sports, but I lead in with sports by saying this is really about life wrapped around sports, whether you give a damn or not. So let me just try to start you off in a place where all of us have thought about this. Have you ever wanted to get revenge, Mario?
I did.
Okay, I want you to understand. Think about it now. Every scenario, did you want to serve it like cold revenge?
But I was mad. It's always mad because, see, I was just sitting there and a pudding came out of the air and hit me in the side of the face. I was sitting at lunch at school, 5th grade. I'm still to the day, I don't know who hit me with the pudding.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm just saying, I'm mad about that pudding to this day. Vanilla pudding, too.
Right.
Slapped me right in the side of the face. A different time, Jell-O cubes hit me in the head. Remember Jell-O cubes?
Yeah.
So I am, Vic. I do know about anger and vengeance, and I will find you, whoever hit me with them Jell-O cubes. It ain't over.
Anger, vengeance, saith the Lord.
Vanilla pudding.
Vanilla pudding. I got you. Well, hey, this is what we're going to talk about. I'm going to wrap something around where you actually like to get back at somebody that messed with you. So I'm going to talk about the Clippers against the Warriors. I'm going to talk about Memphis and OKC, Oklahoma. I'm going to talk about Pacers who may have to think revenge, and I don't think they can get there.
No.
And the Raiders do it again. And if I say the magic word, it's called trade.
Interesting.
Interesting, right? And culture change in New York. You know what that means? Clean house of everybody.
They need that in New York. All you New Yorkers, we've been trying to get y'all to change your culture for a long time.
Right.
Hear that, Spike? You know I love you, Spike. But this, when it comes to sports, we getting your ass.
You're right.
We love you, Spike. I do. Morris, I love you. We in your ass.
Why do I say basketball and sports is about revenge? For every game that you play,
yes,
if you lose or if they lose, they're coming back and bringing the wrath, right? Well, the wrath was served up yesterday by the Clippers. Revenge is a dish best served cold. And when I say you beat somebody's ass by 40 points, is that good enough? Is that a foretelling of what's to come, or is that a blip, Mario? Because revenge is now back on the Warriors' court. Can they deliver the same?
It certainly was a banging of sorts. Let's just say you got analyzed. Sometimes an offensive term is actually the best descriptive,
right,
for an event.
Yes,
and to say that the Golden State Warriors were sodomized on the air.
Okay, I am not using
it's probably the most correct description. They were sodomized without lubricant. He's with the old dry rub.
Okay. Well, let me put it in a better perspective for those who are going. There's a lot of comparisons you can use in this. In the game of sports,
a lot of sexual ones.
There's a lot. First of all, isn't sports like relationships, team building?
It is. It is.
What makes sports something that we're attracted to? Do we like to see somebody get served up, like beat down? Do we want to see that more so than a team just winning every day, nobody competing? You want to see a loser so they can come back to win, right?
Of course.
Okay. So here I'm gonna make you the Golden State Warriors.
Why me? See, now just because we had to talk about your indiscretions,
right?
Now I gotta be the one on the pointy end.
That's right. You got it. This is a job jeopardy moment because Mark Jackson, who basically is under somewhat of the umbrella of Jerry West up in Golden State, feeling the heat of them saying things are not cool there. Going back to some other stories that deal with Brian Scalabrine and some other coaches who've been sent down to the D League once they cross the line of, the proper way of supporting your coach who is your leader. You have to be careful. But it seems like he's under the scrutiny. So after a 40-point trouncing by the Clippers, now the revenge is back in Warriors court. Murray, it's just simple. Will the Clippers say what you saw yesterday is coming up Northern California way? Or do you believe Warriors has the next game, Game 3?
No, to tell you the truth, Vic, when the teams are like this, I actually say you throw that game kind of out. If as a losing team, I don't even watch film on that.
Really?
Yeah, I just throw it out. Because it's so aberrant to me. It's so different. It's not you. It was just everything terrible.
True.
To spend a bunch of time on it is kind of a waste of time.
True.
It's almost like days like today, technically.
You can leave it alone.
Just throw them out because, and you still have to say this, hasn't Mark Jackson made the Golden State Warriors have a different swagger? They feel, Vic, like a different team. They never came at you kind of like this. They have a different, and that is something else. They have a toughness that comes across that's way different. As it's certainly lacking in the Lakers. Okay, I'm just saying, as an offensive team, they have an air of toughness. So I think you throw this out, Vic.
Okay.
And I bet you Doc Rivers ain't going to let the Clippers hang on to this too much, even though there was some personal stuff.
That's right.
That went down.
Let me say something also, and I'm going to get into another category that deals with ministering in the game of sports. But before I do that, can you remember a player? I watch Blake Griffin right now, and I'm looking at every player in the NBA. Can you remember a player we last seen as a power forward who goes to the basket to be physical, to get inside, and approaches going to the basket when we live in the day and age of the three-point shot? Everybody wants to step out and shoot, even centers, big power forwards, where he is actually like a combination of Karl Malone.
You know what you just said, the right word. I was about to say, Karl Malone.
Right. Akeem Olajuwon was different with speed, but Moses Malone wanted to kill you under the basket. He wanted to take you, body you up. What I enjoyed about what I saw with Blake Griffin is that he came away with 13 of 17, and he was going to punish people. I enjoyed that so much, I actually sat here and said, name a player right now who's doing this. He's 6'8", maybe at top 6'9". Well, they say 6'10", but I think he's around 6'9". And he actually wants to go to the basket, a la Shaquille O'Neal back in the day. Vic, there's so few in the league. In all of them, I think a bunch of them in the playoffs. Aldridge. Right.
There's 3 or 4 of them, that's it, that come like that.
Physically
just going to slam it in your face.
Blake is the best part.
And the Clippers got really 2 of them.
Right.
Because DeAndre Jordan is coming just like that too.
Right.
So no, that's why I said both coaches. I got to give it up, even though they lost to Golden State. I still give it up to both of these coaches.
Right. And I believe
2 guards, by the way, two guards.
Right. Look, I love Golden State, but you do live by the 3 and die by the 3. And if they don't have an inside presence, I don't know how they can deal with teams that's just going to man them up and have equal speed. Because when you have 2-point guards and that's it, then you're going to be living by a risky percentage shot versus the inside game.
You know what? The folks with the small centers play a different game, and I'm kind of okay with what I like what Golden State does with that smaller inside and the way they play it with Lee and them.
Right.
So, we'll just see because, there's a whole bunch of them that don't have it.
That's right.
Like we've talked about this. It's a new way of playing.
Miami did it already.
And even the ones who have big guys, they're not the same big like Houston's.
That's
like Dwight. I mean, I'm just sorry. It's not quite the same kind of big.
No.
So we'll see. Like I said, Vic, I'm not willing to I just throw the game out.
Let me give you this idea. I'm going to use this relative in a way. All of you guys have had relationships. I always compare sports to relationships. And then all of a sudden, you didn't win with that particular person. You didn't win that day of getting what you wanted. Mar, you've been on dates before where you said, I hope I get a certain type of treatment. If I don't get this treatment, how do I win? How do you win? Well, Mark Jackson ministers. That's a different style in the NBA. Will that work? Because watch this, relative to you going out on a date.
Oh yeah, I think ministering is similar to sports. Well, that's why pep talks work.
Right.
And that's why sometimes it's not even so much a pep talk. Sometimes the quietest person on the team can just look up and say, a couple like "let's go,"
right,
and say it the right way. That's why those things are inspiring as moments,
right?
Which is part of why we love sports, right?
Yeah.
We love sports because it challenges us ourselves,
right,
to rise to things that we don't do, to knuckle up, to go head on. That's what basketball and all that symbolizes. So, yeah, I think you do minister,
right,
and in a great sense of it,
right.
I think the great teams believe in that at that moment. That's
True.
how you come together.
Right. And you feel that same way when you're bonding with that special someone. You minister, don't you?
It's been a long time, Vic.
You don't want to minister?
I can remember back to that special.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly been unspecial.
Wait a minute, you haven't ministered, right?
I have, but it's, I used to give those pre-sex pep talks.
Right.
It happens.
You're right.
Because how many of you, I've had times where at the end of it, my girl jumped up and gave me a high five. She's like, yes! I was like, damn, it was like that? Yes!
There you go. There you go.
I was like, okay, I didn't even know girls did that. She's, yes!
Isn't it true that that significant other wants to see you convince them, even if it's a lie?
They do. They want to see it in your
really
face.
Trying hard to convince them that I am worthy of the next date.
They want the nostrils flaring like this.
This is wrong. I don't know. I don't think that's the look they're looking for. No, not. Becca, help me. Help me, please. Help me. Help me. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Let me go on to the next topic. I'm going to keep rolling this because this, to me, each sports is relationships. And I keep saying
this
how
picture
you practice.
demonstrates that. This picture, more than many, demonstrates that sports is relationships.
Right. This is relationships. Oklahoma was predicted to actually sweep Memphis. But Memphis comes with a call seniority, tenure.
Wonderful barbecue, by the way.
All day.
All day. You get some great barbecue.
All day, man.
Dry rub.
All day.
Dry rub.
So here's the key. I'm going to relate this again to relationships. Are you a better man because you're older and wiser in handling relationships than that young, energetic crew that's coming at you with speed, athleticism, Mario? What category would you win most with? Tenure, maturity.
Slow, steady.
There you go.
Well thought out.
There you go.
Knowing my plan, having a roadmap. Yes, I know where the G spot is.
See,
I will find it, and I will caress that SOB till your heart's content.
So
that's the old man's way.
So what happened?
That's right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The old man, Memphis Grizzlies.
Yes,
because they're the old men, even though they're not really old. But Marc Gasol. And of course, down, I call it their down low, grind it out, came out with a win at OKC. So the relationship here is about, speed and athleticism all day. Athleticism always works. But when you slow down, think, use your body in certain ways, you'll come out ahead. So Mario, relating to relationship.
It is.
Don't you tell women, think, slow down.
Can't remember.
Let me use your body in certain ways.
I tell them to look at me. Look at me. I know why you're out. I'm talking to you. Look at me.
Let me stop.
I tell them that. They're like, oh, I can't look at you.
Right.
Look at me.
Okay. So let me say this.
It's the truth.
It's 1-1 with OKC and Memphis. How many games does this go? And who wins when? It's an easy say and do. It's OKC. Do they win in 5, 6, or 7?
I think OKC wins.
Okay.
If they don't, it won't surprise me.
Right.
The same thing I've been saying all year. It seems like it's in so full effect. Westbrook.
Yeah.
What is he doing?
The blame game is starting again.
I'm just saying, but he always becomes. See, as great as he is, Vic, he's not great when it counts. He hasn't been great when it counts. He keeps. In other words, even I was thinking some of those shots, I love you took them, but you have to hit them.
Problem.
How you go throwing him up and missing? He's missing everything at the end of the game.
You can't make him into a traditional point guard.
No, you can't.
He's not gonna. It's not gonna happen.
So you're gonna win or lose. And my thing is that right now, you can make it. This is where the coach has to use him or something. I don't know that you can, because if you don't use him one way, you got to deal with his personality.
Right.
And that's part of the problem, Vic. But I did feel like, to me, if I looked at the single variable, to me, they try to put it on Kevin, I still go, Westbrook is so erratic, and he cannot be counted on to make anything.
Right.
Even when he was driving to the basket, miss.
I know.
Drive, miss. Everything's a miss.
But they love it. They love it when it works. And the prior game, he had like 28 and double figures and either assist rebounds, I believe. Here's the problem, Mario. Derek Fisher played on the Lakers and was not a traditional point guard, but they won with. And
look what he did. Look what he's done so far in this playoff.
Right.
Big.
So he was never the I will create for the team and be a threat with assists and or scoring, but they won championships. They just have to find a way to have the other players like Serge Ibaka step up. His lacking of what his
that's
effect.
Another good one, and he's done same thing in other playoffs too. Same issue with him.
Right.
Their other bigs have not stepped up, Vic. And that's what I said at the beginning of the year.
Right.
I don't trust Westbrook to deliver against, like, for example, the Heat.
Right.
And Mario Chalmers is so steady these days.
Right.
I go, why can't they be like him?
The problem
They
is
can't be like him.
They don't have the Wade LeBron persona and production so far. Also, when you go look at the numbers of the game that they just lost, everybody was missing. Caron Butler was missing. Serge Ibaka was not hitting. So in a way, Westbrook says it's Durant. Now, do we just give the ball to Durant indefinitely? That's not the way to win. So I think he was in a position of saying, none of the other players are hitting. They're not producing. It's just Durant and myself. And to me, it's not about Westbrook. It's about the other players not stepping up in their roles. They're not going to defeat a Miami if it's just Westbrook and Durant.
I'm totally with you in that. I'm totally with you in that. If that was definitely, that's what has occurred before. And again, I still lump Westbrook in there because he's part of it too. I'm not faulting him for what he attempted to do. I'm faulting for not delivering.
Smarter plays.
Make them.
Smarter plays that you want him to do. He's stepping up where the condition is if he doesn't hit that outside shot and there's nobody under the rim to grab the rebound or to actually try to threat to get an offensive rebound, that long shot always turns over to a scoring opportunity.
Because it's a fast turnover opportunity. That's why you shoot the long shot, you get a big old bounce.
Right.
Now you got a fast. Yeah. Again, Vic, I don't even mind. I'm not even going to nitpick that.
Right.
Make the shots.
Right.
If you make the shots, I'm shutting up.
Or
all the stuff you took. I watched him do a bunch of stuff, go to the hoop, everything, and just miss it. Everything just kept being a miss.
Even Durant was having a rough time. The problem is, outside, you live by the outside, you die by the outside. No other team is immune from that, even the best shooting guards in Golden State. So this was a game where, unfortunately, turnovers, bad decisions, all came to play. And so when it was left down, nobody was going to the hole like Blake Griffin was doing with high percentage shots. They didn't have that. Serge Ibaka was missing. So it's 1-1, but they're going to come back on this one. But they go back to Memphis. Who wins Game 3, Mario? They go back to Memphis on this one. Game 3.
Wow, Memphis.
Okay.
I think I think they're more closely matched than people realize. Just like with Houston,
right,
and just like with Golden State, I think those are just closely matched, first round games, and that's why it's like this. And none of them can beat Miami.
Right.
To me, that's what I said before. None of them can beat Miami.
Right.
But go on.
I will talk about the other teams that's playing today when it comes to Washington, Toronto, Chicago Bulls, etc., Miami, and Charlotte, because they're going to play shortly. So I'm going to wait to see what the results are on Game 2, because it's better to find out after that first game how things are going, as we did with these games. So you're going to look for my follow-up on that on the next morning coffee segment of New Sports. But I'm going to go over to the Raiders do it again. And when I say this, I was shocked that they traded their quarterback, Terrell Pryor, to the Super Bowl champs, Seattle Seahawks, for a 7th-round trade. That only means one thing to me that's happening. They're setting themselves up to get somebody through the draft, which means they're going to have to draft a quarterback, because this guy is talented, but maybe they wanted more from him sooner. Is this a good trade? 7th round now. This is the Raiders. They come in, they go out, dude. I'm saying. I'm saying. What do you think?
Looks bad to me.
Yeah,
First of all, I think he works great on Seattle. They can have him practice the offense as it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't require a bunch of change. Now, it may be that Pete Carroll's so smart that he said, I'm going to build a powerhouse of these prototype quarterbacks.
Right.
So even when I bring up my second stringers,
right,
the offense is not going to even – it's almost like Chip Kelly came in and said, I'm going to mostly run my same offense, right?
Right.
No matter what. So for Pete Carroll, wonderful. For the Raiders, I don't know. Now, the Raiders they got somebody as a trade. I can't remember. They got a recent veteran. They traded somebody. I can't remember who they got.
They always get veterans.
They got because somebody just went to the Raiders.
Right.
I can't remember. One of the ones that's
they have a history.
Matt Schaub.
They have
It's Matt Schaub.
Are you happy about Matt Schaub?
No, but at least I'm trying to understand what they're doing. So to me, if they trade Terrell Pryor, which is a big deal, for only a 7th round pick to us, we don't get it. That means that they are more committed to elsewhere. I don't think it's a draft issue, Vic. I really don't.
I don't think it is unloading a contract.
Because as far as I know, they are in the running. There's like 4 or 5 people were watching, but not all of them are that great as caliber.
I agree.
I think they may be, believe it or not, I think they may be planning for Matt Schaub.
Does that make Oakland step up and rise? So let's just say he doesn't throw the interceptions because they say, well, just don't do that. Can he lead a team that has marginal talent compared to what Houston has?
Yeah, I don't get it.
Can he be that force?
I don't get it.
All right.
But I have to assume, again, you can't read minds. We know they made these trades. I think they have somebody else too.
Oh, it's a draft.
I think there's 3. No, I'm just thinking the Raiders have
I know
2 or 3
I didn't want
name quarterback veteran guys. I just can't remember. One might be the guy, the former U.S.
The part that you're dealing with. They used to have Carson Palmer. They used to have all these guys.
That's why it's hard to follow.
This is why I said they have a history of taking where people have somehow not performed to spec. Bring them in. They don't know how to develop core positions a certain way.
They don't know how to do anything.
Okay, that's why
one of the worst franchises because they've become a laughing stock.
And I believe me,
they're a laughing stock.
I love what they represent, but I don't love how they're producing. There's no culture that's kind of. There's no culture tied to this is what they're going to do. Just wait. So with that being said, let's go over to the next topic because New York Knicks are changing their culture. And when Phil Jackson comes in, your sideline reporter, Steve Kerr, former general manager also at Phoenix, also who tells you, I'm throwing up deuces. I got this. Is your new New York Knicks coach. They're changing the culture. I'm sorry, that bit gets me. They're changing the culture because they're cleaning out what used to exist. Now, James Dolan is still the man. He doesn't have a history. He's taken over the mantle of what Sterling used to be with the LA Clippers. Is this going to work that they need a culture change, Mario? Or is it just, hey, I'm sorry, Phil, you're just president. He'll just be the coach. It is what it is.
Well, they do need a culture change. These kind of things are usually part of it. It's hard to keep the people, even the good ones, and have a culture change. So sometimes you sacrifice good employees because of that.
Right.
But I think you do have to do that. I think that's what Mark Jackson has done at Golden State.
Right.
I think that's what you end up getting in places because the people and the individuals bring an attitude about winning.
Right.
That you see causing things to change. It's what the Clippers now believe. I never thought the Clippers, believe it.
I know.
I never thought they would have a change of culture.
They've changed it all.
It looks like that even with Donald Sterling's, maybe because he's old, hopefully he's somewhere leaving everything alone, and maybe that's why they're better, because he was certainly a terrible owner.
Well, yeah, it was a business. He was about business, but not about basketball.
Just make the team seem cheap. Right. When I say terrible, not terrible like I don't know about him personally. I'm just saying the team looked cheap and dirty.
Right.
He made it look like a cheap, dirty team.
So here's the question, the exit question: will the combination of Jackson and Kerr change, and will New York be very competitive within 2 years?
I don't think that this is the thing in and of itself that changes it.
Right.
But it is part of the change. And yeah, I think most of us would say that the New York Knicks, talent-wise, should be doing reasonable right now already.
They have to keep Carmelo? See,
No.
Okay, so they can make a change.
No, because this is
without
the same.
Carmelo.
This is the same discussion we had before about the teams which used to be like Indiana was.
Right.
When before people start expecting them to win.
Right.
When you get those hard-working teams, they kind of come out of nowhere.
Right.
Because everybody's busting butt, and you look at them, they don't have the same kind of superstars.
Right.
Even when you look at Memphis or some of the others, it's still not the same kind of things.
Right.
So no, I think it's happening, and I think definitely 2 years, dude. I think they could have competed. I expected the Knicks to compete this year. I said that
did too.
at the beginning of the year.
I did too.
So they have
think
talent.
I just think they quit.
have talent, right? They just showed terrible lack
discipline
of all that, right? Terrible, just absolutely terrible,
right?
So yeah, no, 2 year, right? I think they'll be good next year.
They'll be better equipped than the Lakers are right now. So they should
better
be
leadership,
right? So here it is. Mario he's gonna have a hard time. He's saying thumbs up to you, New York Knicks.
No, I'm saying let's give the New Yorkers something to cheer about. They've had such a desert.
Yes.
As they continue. I want you to win some in basketball because we're going to have a lot of fun laughing at the New York Jets.
The time has come. The change is here.
And the Giants may be on the way down, too.
That's my new sports. You got to get out of here, man. Stay well and rested for the hot picks.
Oh, here we go, everybody.
I know. Here we go. Buffers everywhere. Get ready for it, you guys. I know it's coming.
That's right. That's New Sports.
I told you that was the buffer. That's it.